Letters fly off a spinning globe from the US, UK, and Australia to spell SGK Studios present an Audio Pizza production.
Hello and welcome to our holiday edition of Audio Pizza. We got a brief but fun show in store for you, and you'll hear about what Sean saw at Sight Village, as well as a special holiday treat coming up next on Audio Pizza. Hey, Kayaker here, freezing my butt off in the northeast of the United States thanks to a polar vortex. Brrr. But it is that time of year, and I've got my holiday decorations all out. Death Star on the Christmas tree, and I'm sure in Manchester, UK, someone has their Snoopy decorations all over their shed. How are you doing, Sean?
I am great, thank you, Kayaker. I don't have any Christmas decorations up. Does that make me Grinch? I think it does.
Well, I think it does. I think it does. Very apropos. You are the Grinch.
I don't have a Christmas tree. No, I tell a lie. I bought something off eBay and someone came round and delivered it and they gave me a Christmas garland. I think they felt sorry for me. It was a beautiful moment of humanity. That was gorgeous. Anyway, okay. I digress. Yes, it's cold here as well. I know you like the weather and it's Christmas, so I'll give you a present. It's cold here as well. But I know where it's not cold, and that's Australia. See that? Flawless segment there. Hello, Garth.
Segue, even.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry. Segue there. It's late. I'm tired. Leave me alone. God, hit me up on everything.
You know what? It's bloody cold here, too. I've got the heating on. It's ridiculous. It's Melbourne.
Wait. Is it summer over there?
That's right. And in other parts of the country, they're having bushfires and all sorts of awful things. But in lovely Melbourne, it's still freaking freezing.
Okay, define freaking freezing. So it's 0 C over there, Garth? Is it 0 C? No.
No,
it's more like, what, 12?
When I say freaking freezing, it's freezing for the time of year.
Are you in your budgie smugglers?
This body hasn't seen budgie smugglers in quite a few years, I can tell you that.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
DTs? Does that help, Kayaker? And if that doesn't help, I'm not taking it.
All right, okay. All right.
I've got a question. Sorry, Garth. The
that's
imagery just made me a bit bilious, so I'm moving on. Why is this a brief audio pizza, Kayaker?
Well, I don't know. I think we've got a couple things to talk about, and then we have a very special treat at the end of the episode, which we'll tack on. So. Do I spill the beans now, or is this just a teaser? So
spill the beans, because either it's going to be there or it's not.
Okay, well, hopefully after the end of this segment, we will have another Audio Pizza production radio play of, I believe the title is How Sean the Grinch Fixed Christmas. So we shall see how that goes.
Oh, I inadvertently did a kind of link there. With the Grinch. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's very, very cool.
You did read the script, Sean. You did read it, right? Yeah.
He didn't have the record button, so he wasn't bothering wasting time reading it until he was ready to record.
Exactly.
So, as you can see, listeners, there's been a lot of preparation gone into this particular radio drama. Nothing last minute at all about it. Yeah.
That's exactly my point. I need preparation. I'm a method actor, right? I can't just suddenly this script's thrown in front of me and just no. I've got to feel it. I've got to explore it. I need to emote, Kayaker.
Well, the thing is, you already embody Grinch, so it's fine.
Good point.
It was written. The part was written for you. It's
I've
like
also
this
got
is totally
to read
you.
It. That would help. Okay, yes. So that will be coming up at the end of this episode. So stay tuned. It's going to be very festive and very Christmas, I'm sure. Is it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Anyway. Are we in? Am I in an Amdram group now? Is that what we've become? The
amateur
audio
dramatics
pizza players. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yes.
I don't think once a year is enough to be counted.
I don't think we count.
Fair enough. Okay. Right. Well, stay tuned. That's coming up.
All right.
Apparently.
This is future editing Garth coming in to say that this episode went on a bit longer than expected. So I've decided to release as is, and the audio drama, Sean the Grinch Saved Christmas, or Fixed Christmas, or whatever we call it, will be coming up in the next week or so.
Let's jump right to it so we can get to the play so we can entice our listeners to hang out. So, Sean, big November for you. You went out of the shed.
I did.
Went on the train.
Yes.
You went down to London.
London. Yes.
Sight Village, UK, London.
Yes, in Earl's Court.
How was that experience?
Yeah, no, it was very cool. This was the first time it's been a 2-day event rather than the 1-day event. Last time I went to London for Sight Village, it was the 1-day event.
Okay.
And I've got to say, it was very busy. And it felt very sort of cramped. I'm going to say cramped. It was just very busy. This one was much more relaxed because it's over 2 days, spread out a bit more. It didn't feel like everyone had to cram in that first day. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it did feel very much more relaxed and lots more space. It was a really nice experience. So, yeah, it was very cool. Sight and Sound sponsored us to go down. I've got to mention that. Thank you very much, Sight and Sound. It was very good. And this time, you know, we ummed and ahed about Sight Village because, you know, in our small blind world, a lot of the stuff we've seen before and it sticks around for a long time, right, when it comes to assistive tech.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, is there anything new to talk about? And yeah, there actually was. But we went in a bit of a different direction. We looked at low vision devices, which is something we don't really look at because obviously, you know, someone can't send me a video magnifier and say, what do you think of that? Because I can't use it. I can't use low vision. So, but we thought we'd take a look because obviously there's still a huge percentage of people in our community that use low vision. I'd used low vision for decades before it was no good to me. So I thought, yeah, well, let's take a look. And yeah, there were some interesting things there. The video magnifiers are all coming along. Of course, you know, everything has got AI in it. But when it comes to like document scanners and things like that, I saw something called Angel Eye, which is one of these, you know, standalone. You flip down the little camera, hit a button, it takes a picture, scans any document in front of it. You know, it's one of those things again where we always say, well, there's an app for that. You know, I've got my smartphone, I don't need it. But actually, I can absolutely see the target audience for it, for people who don't want to muck around trying to swipe through or whatever. It's just put the page down on a surface, press a button, and it's reading it out in seconds. But also, it's got the AI element as well. And, you know, you're able to ask it questions and it can drill down and, you know, just get the...
Interrogate the document, basically.
Interrogate the document. You know, the example that's always given in this case is like, you know, a menu, you know, what's the chicken dishes and things like that. So, yeah, that was very cool. But for me, I've got to say, being very selfish, as I always am, I did like the sound of the Luna glasses. That's Luna. Now, these are glasses developed by someone with RP. Can you guess what they're for, Garth, a fellow RPer?
What, they expand that tunnel?
I'm guessing based on the name Luna from Moon that we're talking about sort of low light situations.
Absolute bing, correct there. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was 50-50, tunnel vision or night blindness when we're talking about RP. But yeah, these are basically night vision goggles. All right, but miniaturized. So they were still, I'll be honest with you, still slightly more chunky than, say, the Meta Ray-Bans, right? But I know RPers that have used, you know, have gone out and bought night vision goggles, you know, real ones to use at night because night blindness is a real issue. It's the first thing that hit me, you know, when I was a kid. And it really
just thought
limited.
You couldn't see at night. Like, if it's dark, you can't see. That makes sense, right?
I know, yeah. But then you realize you go into, you know, a restaurant with your family, and it's like everyone can see, and it's like, hang on, isn't it pitch black in here?
I thought it was dark.
No, it's not pitch black. Or you come out, you go into a shop from being outside, and it's like complete black. It's like, what happened?
Or
So
you do that thing where you stop when you first come into a room and play with your phone or something just to make it look like you're waiting for your eyes to adapt.
yeah, and that it takes longer and longer each time. It's like, okay, I got to pretend for 5 minutes, but yeah. So yeah, that's exactly what these are trying to resolve, really. So yeah, if you think of night vision goggles, but miniaturized, and the way these work is that they have projectors in the arms, and they project onto, I believe it's mirrors or some sort of engraved lens at the front. You can still see through. They're semi-transparent, the actual lenses in these, so it's not like you're just looking at a VR headset with displays in front of your eyes, and the enhanced. Nighttime enhanced night vision image is projected in front of you.
Interesting.
Okay.
And it's done in real time.
It overlays the real, the what you can still see through the lens.
Yeah, well, you can still see through the lens, so the real world, and then you've got this enhanced image overlaid. Now, I don't know. Obviously, I couldn't use them, so I don't know if when I hear something like
that projection overlays with reality.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, is that a full screen overlay? Is that like a picture? But when we're talking about the people they're aimed at, I'm thinking, well, it can't be off to the side because it's going to be outside someone's tunnel, right?
That's some very cool tech, though.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And the thing for me, as with all this sort of technology, is that, the inventor, let's use that term, the inventor himself, the guy behind it, is using them for himself. Do you know what I mean? This is to solve a problem. He was talking about, going to walk into his family through, just through the estate or whatever it is, through the neighborhood, and being able to do it using these, it makes a huge difference. And I can absolutely see that from my teenage years. A lot of the time it was spent trying to get indoors before night fell, before it started to get a little bit dim, It was weird. It was like being a reverse vampire for the longest time. And these would have been great for that. Now, these are going to be available Q1 2026, but they were showing them off there. They were very cool. The price tag, I think, don't quote me on this, and this may change anyway when they actually hit the market. I think it was around £1,500, so they're not cheap.
Pretty
of course,
good,
they're not.
No, that's not
but
too
not bad either. Yeah, it could have been worse, but we'll have to wait and see. But for a lot of people, again, what I said about looking at low vision products, and I can't really decide if something is good or not anymore. But for the vast majority of people, low vision is what you've got. So I think these were very cool, I've got to say. So these were the Luna glasses, Luna glasses. If you just Google search Luna glasses, night blindness RP, you'll find them.
Yeah. The Angel reader that you mentioned.
Angel Eye.
Eye, there you go. How portable was it?
Let me think. What
is
sort
this
of
a thing
size?
you sit on a desk at home and leave there, or is...
No. It was definitely portable. I mean, I'm thinking of other ones I've seen. I can't remember if I actually got hands-on with that one or not, because I did see quite a few. Yeah. But most of them were, some sort of handle you could carry them around. I mean, I think that the target audience for a lot of these readers is for education. So, if you're taking them in somewhere and trying to read some sort of reference material, I think that is the target audience. But it isn't by any means something you need an area in an office or in your house to set up. It's very much you could carry it around in a backpack. You know what I mean? So smaller than a laptop, but a lot thicker, some sort of like a hot water ball. I don't know.
It's still not something you're probably going to take to the restaurant to read the menu, though.
Yeah,
no.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
No, there is a specific. I mean, for menus and things like that. Again, I think the smartphone or the smart glasses are the most convenient way. But for people who don't want to use smart glasses, who don't want to use the smartphone to read their mail or whatever it is, I think this would be cool in the home as well, especially for someone who isn't really into the smartphone, as I said. So, it was very cool.
So would you say it's not just for low vision, but even totally blind if it's actually reading documents? Is this a true document reader, or is it also
yeah. So, sorry, I made a big deal about being low vision, and no, that actually isn't low vision, but You know what? It's one of those sort of, I almost call it a fringe device, and I sort of cringe when I say that. But it has come to this point when everyone's got the smartphone and, OCR apps. You sort of think, well, why would I use that? But it is, for what it does it incredibly well and incredibly convenient manner. It just does what it does, but it does it very well. I can't remember the price on that, but again, we're not talking $500 here. We're talking quite expensive piece of kit, at least $1,000, if not more. But if you're in the market for that use case, I think it's one of the best ones out there. I did look at a few, and I thought that one was nice.
And this is a silly reason to buy any of this sort of stuff. Well, over here at least, you can get funding to buy blindness-specific products, whereas an iPhone, or Meta glasses, which are purely off-the-shelf, non-specific, even if they're incredibly useful, you can't get the funding for it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just really frustrating. It makes sense from a one angle of a policy, but geez.
Obviously, depends what part of the world you're in. If you have any funding options there, I know you're quite lucky there, as ever, in Australia, Garth.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you are.
Oh no, there's no point pretending.
But
definitely live in the lucky country.
Sticking with the actual, let's say, the blind side, sticking with that, I actually did get hands-on as well with the new HumanWare BrailleNote Evolve.
Oh, yes. Tell me about that.
So I've got to say, first thing, it's a sexy bit of kit, and I never thought I'd say that about a Braille display. I don't use one, but it was nice and sleek. It was very cool feeling, and the design was lovely. Really, really portable. So the BrailleNote Evolve is a Windows-based Braille note-taker. So as we know, HumanWare with the, what was it called? The BrailleNote Touch Plus, was it? Or the BrailleNote Plus? Anyway, their previous note takers were based on Android, and not even a current version of Android. Most of the criticism that they get when you think of the price of a Braille display or a Braille note taker, and then you look at the hardware specs and the software it's running. If it's running Android from 5 years ago or whatever it may be, you think, hang on, that doesn't seem right. But the point is, this new BrailleNote Evolve is running Windows 11 Pro. And the hardware inside was actually really nice as well. We're talking 32 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
Which is, 16 is cool. What do you mean respectable? I think that's incredibly generous.
Well, very respectable. Okay. I'm sorry, Sean.
Thank you. I'll pick you up on that. The processor is Intel Core Ultra i5. So, that's okay. 512 gig of storage. And what else was it? Oh, yeah, and the Windows, as I said, Windows 11 Pro, not even the Home, the Windows 11 Pro. So, the specs actually are very nice on this. As I said, the design is really sleek. First one out of the box is going to be a 32 cell. Later on, they're going to have a 20 and a 40 cell. And later on with the 40 cell, it's also going to be QWERTY input. So you got the QWERTY keyboard instead of the standard, Braille keyboard.
Perkins.
Yeah, the Perkins style input. So I think everyone's going to be happy with that. You got the 20, 32, 40 and the QWERTY option as well, which is very nice. It's still going to be running the Keynote software on there, or at least a sort of cut down version of it. Because it's running Windows, they're not going to have the keyword word processing software on there
Word and so forth.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's going to rely on the Microsoft Word. So, but you are going to have Keysoft on there. So if you're coming, for someone coming from the previous version, it's not going to be a total, Windows, scary. There should be some sort of transition there. The new Keysoft software is going to be based off NVDA. So they're going to be sort of making a fork of NVDA. So that's cool. But of course, once you drop into Windows 11 itself, you can use JAWS or whatever you like.
Whatever you've got to load up, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now, look, I don't use Braille, so I don't know. But I know there was a lot of buzz about this when they sort of unveiled it at Site Village. This isn't going to be available again till I think it's again the start of 2026. No, it's not. It's going to be later than that, actually, because they're going to also show it off at CSUN. So it's going to be far later than that. So it's not going to be available till next year, probably. But again, lots of people in education, TVIs, were really excited by the move to Windows, because the whole point and the whole thing that HumanWare were saying, because I actually had an interview and I said, is this it now? Are we leaving Android behind? Is everything now going to be Windows? And it does seem to be the future, because the point they were making was, with assistive technology, Android was sort of made for the mobile phone hardware, and that's expected to be updated every 3 years tops, really. But when it comes to assistive technology like Braille displays, they're not updated, not replaced. You don't buy a new Braille display every 3 years. So they think Windows has more longevity in it, which I understand. But the main point is that Windows is education, is employment. So yes. It's again, and this is something Adi Kushner has said before as well from Orbit. Why would you learn something completely different when in education and in employment, the 99% chance that you're going to have to use Windows? So why not use it all the way through?
I think that point that why not learn Windows from the start is really, really valid. I know there are kids coming through blind low vision programs at the moment who love their BrailleNote or their Braille displays, Braille note takers, but they get locked in this silo and they find Windows is, a bit overwhelming, don't really want to go there, just want to do everything on their Braille display, which is fine. So to have that, so that they're using their Braille display but are also learning how to use Windows at the same time, super, super valid and I think really actually important. The other thing I heard with this device is that with the Perkins input, you do still also get a proper Control, Alt, Windows, all the all those keys.
Modifier keys, you do. Yeah, either side
keys.
of the space bar, you've got the standard keys there. Standard Windows, yeah.
Like the last device that, I can't think what it's called. Basically, it was a Windows computer and you slotted a Focus 40 into it and it became a single device.
You had the L Braille before
that.
The
L Braille.
Yeah.
Geordie got one, barely ever used it. And you've got to learn all these layered keystrokes that you need to learn with, to do the Alt and Control. If you want to do Alt F4, you have to press this, and then this, and all this sort of weird stuff. So,
press the chord. Yeah.
Well, it was multi-layered chords too, just to do a single keystroke. Really, a whole thing to learn. So this sounds really good. Sounds really exciting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Where do you stand on the... Oh, let me give you the price on that before we wrap that up. Brace yourselves. I
am sitting down.
The expected price is £5,499.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure if that's for the 32 cell, for the 20 cell, for the 40 cell. I'm expecting
maybe the
32 cell. Yeah, so I think that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I bulk at that price, but in the world of Braille displays, I don't know. Obviously, that's down to the individual. But, that's the price they're looking at currently. The previous... I've gone blank on the name, the BrailleNote Plus, the BrailleNote Touch Plus. Anyway, the previous one from HumanWare is actually halved in price. I think it's now $2,900.
Okay.
They're now marketing that one as sort of my first Braille display or my first Braille note taker.
Yeah.
As in, it's running Android, it's running Keysoft, and, it gets you into...
It does what it does, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so...
Which is fine, I think. If you buy a product and it only does these things, as long as it keeps on doing those things, then you still got what you bought, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but as I said, lots of people excited by that, and I think we're going to hear more about it, over the next year. So, Windows. Everyone loves Windows.
Who'd have thought?
And the other thing, just as a personal note, I actually got hands-on. I didn't find it on a booth, on a exhibition table or anything. It was actually someone who came up and spoke to us, and they had I'm going to try and say this, and I am going to butcher it. Svárovský cane, and
Yes.
I've heard about these before, and firstly, no one knows the right way to say it, it seems like. I've asked so many people who even sell it still don't quite know how to say it, but Svárovský cane, and I've heard lots of good things about it, and I thought, yeah, okay, and someone had one, so I said, let me have a go. Let me have a ride on it.
Give me a spin.
And yeah, and you know what? It is so light.
It's awesome. I use them.
Yeah, have you got one?
Yes. Did you use the one with the wooden handle?
No, I did not. No.
Leather grip or the neoprene?
Yeah, honestly, I can't remember now.
okay.
But I did ask that and what they were available. But I mean, it was like holding air, like holding smoke. It was it was so beautiful. I am going to get my hands on one of those. I am going to buy one of those. So it was so nice. So tell us about it, Kayaker.
Well, it's really nice. As you said, it's very, very light. There is a limited tip selection. If you're looking for like a giant ball roller, they don't have that type of tips, but they have a lot of nice ceramic tips. What do I call medium rollers, as well as the sort of the hard plastic high teardrop type tips. But yeah, I love it because it is so light. It does fold up nicely. There's multiple handled tops. They're a little bit pricey. I want to say they're on the order of £60, right? Does that sound right, Sean?
Yeah, that sounds about right. £60-70, which actually I thought wasn't bad. I mean,
it is. It's
the default bog standard entry cane is around £40,
Exactly.
I think, from the RNIB.
Yeah.
70 is a nice one.
And I think I use what they call the ceramic roller. So it's sort of it's kind of like a little flying saucer shaped, and I like that. It's kind of a nice size, about the same size as a marshmallow tip, but squatter. It does roll, and it gives that nice ting if you need to tap, and you get a good echo. But again, the thing that I like the most about it is the weight. It is so light. And unlike the Ambitex that I used to use that are given out a lot of the places over here, the posts that go into the holes to keep the cane when you fold it into different segments, they're longer. So I never have the problem where you bump into something and it snaps out. So it's very reliable on that way. So they have nice...
no floppy cane problem?
No floppy cane problem. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's so embarrassing.
Especially when you're walking down the street, and the next thing you know, your cane collapses in on itself because you just hit a little cobblestone.
Never happened before.
Yeah. No, I love them.
So childish. Yeah, I thought it was really nice. Look, there's so many canes I take a look at and I think, it's okay. But I find it difficult to find a difference between them, to be honest. They all kind of feel the same. But that's the first one I took and I thought, oh no, immediately it feels like, this feels different. And it was so light, I was kind of worried, it almost, is this too fragile? Does it? Yes. But apparently it's very strong.
It's extremely strong, yeah. Yeah, it's great. Great cane. Oh, very nice.
Very cool. If you want to find out more, shameless plug, go to doubletaponair.com and you will find it under episodes. You will find our Site Village episode because I'm doing all this from memory and my memory is terrible. You will find any links there. Check it out.
I do have one last question for you regarding Site Village, Sean.
Yes.
And did you happen to run into Amos from glide.io or glidance.io, and did you get to try the latest iteration of the Glide?
No and yes. No, I didn't run into Amos. Luke came bounding over to me and said hello, and I said, "Who's that?" Because you know what it's like when someone comes over and says, "Hello, Sean, how you doing?"
Sean!
Who are you? Which was slightly awkward, but I did meet up with Amos and Luke and everyone else from Glidance, and I did get hands-on. Well, yeah, I think it was the latest prototype. I'm not entirely sure, but it was a new design that I haven't seen before. It was smaller. You were able to just pull the wheels and they just popped off, so you can quickly change the wheels over, which I thought was really nice. The actual design of the handle has changed with the buttons. It was very nice design. The cameras are all sort of sleek and hidden away now, not just sort of poking out as the prototype before. So yeah, the design, it just feels like, oh, okay, this feels like the finished product. You know what I mean? I'm sure it's not, but it feels like, yeah, I could take this out of a box and think, yeah, this is nice. So the design is really cool. They've really worked on, sort of the portability of it. It does feel a lot smaller, the way you can quickly extend and sort of collapse down the handle is really nice, really easy to do. So yeah, the design was very nice. But thing was, okay, let me try this thing out. And again, trying it out on a exhibition floor, it's not the same as trying it out in the real world. Let's get that caveat out there. And I still haven't tried it out in the real world yet. But it worked just as every other time I've got hands on it. It worked really well for me. I just took it. And this one, by the way, was completely silent. The ones I've used before have had the servo noises as it's turned and
turning
guided
the
you.
Wheels, right.
I think they called it Captain Crunchy, I think the nickname of the last one. But this one, completely silent. So much so that I actually had to ask, is it on?
Is it working?
Is it working? And that was the other thing. It was doing it so subtly that I didn't actually feel it guiding me around in some instances. It's like, am I just pushing this? Is it guiding me? Now, I knew it was guiding me because I didn't have my cane, obviously, and I was walking through a crowd of people and I didn't bump into anyone. So it must be working. So that was very nice, very cool experience. I will say this, though. Stephen tried it out, and Stephen uses his left hand. He tried it out, and he had a couple of issues with it trying to turn shoreline against a wall, and it kept turning into it. So, look, kind of difficult to criticize at this minute because it's still in, testing and development. So hard to say, but I just want to sort of balance it out. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Stephen tried it, had a couple of issues. So
we are talking about Stephen. That's what I think. It's just
well, I'll be honest with you. I asked Stephen, do you think it's anything to do with, if you've got any usable sight whatsoever, do you think you're not sort of giving yourself up to glide completely? Whereas I've got nothing to go off. I'm just following it completely, right? Now, Stephen, to be fair, said, no, I don't think so. He's completely, but hey, who knows? As I said, even trying it out in the exhibition floor, is that really a fair trial?
Oh, look, I don't think it is a fair trial. I think it's actually harder than it's going to be in most real-world situations.
Well, no, you're right. And I totally understand what you're saying by that, because there's a crowd of people's walking all over, in every direction. It's
in
not
every
like we're all
direction,
walking in one way. Yeah, exactly. And as I said, I walked through that crowd and I was really confident and I didn't bump into anyone, which is like amazing. Of course it is. But then I'm thinking, okay, I'm thinking of how I'm going to use this in the real world, which is, okay, I need to get up to the shop round the corner. Yep. So I've got to go over the pavements where the cars are parked all on the side and, potholes and puddles. It's that sort of how, in practical terms, how's it going to cope with that? How's it going to cope with shorelining, the front walls of houses and hedges and driveways? So that's the only thing. I really want to try it in the real world. But as ever, so far, really impressed by it. Really impressed.
I'm getting more excited about this thing. And, I know it's taking a long time to come out, and that's fine. So we've got, at the moment here, Geordie and I with Ella, we've got 2 guide dogs. We've got a guide dog each. And they're both getting on in age. There's not going to be long before both of these boys have to retire. The next couple of years or so. Well, even shorter for Geordie's pup. Are we going to have 4 dogs living in the 2-bedroom unit? It seems like it. And neither of us
Yes, you will.
Well, I don't think that we possibly could, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So I don't
difficult.
know. I'm if it comes out in Australia, and guys over in glidness.io, Amos, Luke, if you need someone in Australia to test it and, get a different perspective, happy to do that for you.
Oh, that's so good of you. Oh,
Isn't it? I
Garth,
know.
You're a hero.
So
sir.
hard, so giving, so selfless.
I'll test it if it's a free.
Totally selfless.
No,
Okay.
but you see, this was the other discussion we had is that, not with Amos, me and Stephen were talking about, is because people always talk about, well, if I can't have a guide dog or whatever else, I don't see it as almost, I kind of think the guide dog comparison, although obviously it's going to happen, I don't think it's really fair, because I see this as a completely different option. This is a third option that we haven't had before.
Yes.
But previously it was the white cane or the guide dog, or both. And this I see is completely different. I think, the guide dog experience is always going to be, I'm going to say it, I think it's always going to be better. Okay? I think it's going to be, I can't see AI being as intelligent as a guide dog. I just can't.
I can.
That may change. Of course it might change. But, the real-time awareness of a guide dog, I think, is always going to be preferable. But with that said, as I say, I think this is a third option. I think this is for times where, a guide dog isn't appropriate to use, or for those people that have allergies, or, whatever the reason they don't want a dog. I think the Glide is going to be fantastic. And for me, as someone, who only uses a white cane, for those times, maybe, depending on how well it works, and we still don't know yet, but depending on how well it works, for those times I want to get somewhere quickly, maybe the Glide is going to be for me. Not sure. I just don't think this is, a lot of people are looking at this, and some companies as well, which are looking at other mobility and navigation devices. Almost the guide dog comparison comes up a lot. And I don't think they should be going that way, to be honest.
It's definitely going to have,
Amos isn't, to be fair.
Totally agree that it's going to be a third option. And, there's differences now between using a cane and using a guide dog, and there's going to be differences between using, your Glide and using a guide dog or a cane. There are going to be differences. There are going to be strengths and weaknesses that each of these solutions gives. The point is, though, and why you consider it as a guide dog replacement as such, I guess, is that you're probably going to use one or the other. You're not going to use both at the same time. There are instances where you might use a guide dog and have a cane with you just for additional information, like getting on and off trains or whatever. But typically, one of them is going to be your primary thing. And I guess that's why you're sort of thinking of it as a guide dog replacement.
That's a fair point, actually. Yeah.
And it's interesting that you mentioned that you thought the guide dog was better than the potential of AI. And I see it the other way around. I think a guide dog might be able to adapt to really unusual, unforeseen circumstances, like maybe caution tape or like a giant open manhole cover, something really weird. But I think down the road, when you're trying to do navigation when you can tie in GPS and directions, I think the Glide has a lot more potential in that arena, because, my dream is to, say I want to go here, and then it just starts walking me and steering me down the sidewalks and knows where I'm going. And that I think is going to be a win at some point, but it's not going to be.
I agree with you.
I could see that in the future.
I totally agree with you, but I think the word is dream. Is it ever going to get there?
Absolutely.
You think so?
Yeah, I think we're closer to that experience than you might realize. Yeah.
And
maybe
walking into a random hotel, like motel, somewhere you're going to stay, and finding the counter and things like that. Often your guide dog will do that beautifully. Often they won't. It's like, here's a door, here's a lift. These are the things you like to find in these sort of rooms.
Do you know what? That's a really good point. Let me say this: I've never used a guide dog, so I'm always absolutely blown away when people tell me about. I was in an unfamiliar situation or surroundings, and the dog managed to find the entrance or whatever. It just absolutely blows me away. So maybe I'm giving a little bit too much credibility to them. I'm not saying they don't do an amazing job, but the fact that you say sometimes they won't.
No.
Is kind of a valid
Sometimes
point
they might
as
be
well.
Having an off day. They're not feeling well or, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the advantages of a guide dog, and I'm sure Garth, you experienced this, is if you're heading home, right?
Oh God, yeah.
They start to recognize that it's like you can go on auto. It's like they know where they're going at this point. So I think that's one of the cool things on familiar routes. think you're less likely to get that in the AI.
Yeah, quite possibly. I truthfully can be in sort of autopilot mode very easily with my guide dog. Too easily, you know. I can totally give up control to him and just be flicking around on my phone while we go somewhere. And just, it's, you know, a bit silly in some respects.
Okay.
No, but that's the joy of it, right?
Yeah, it is.
That's the whole point. Yeah, exactly.
And Garth, I hate to bring this up, but didn't you have an experience where you walked off a wall? Was that with your cane or was that with your guide dog at the time, where you just sort of stepped off the wall?
No, the walking off the wall I didn't have either. I was on a...
Okay.
I was...
Okay.
No, see, I wasn't really walking.
Oh, that was in the middle of the woods, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were staying at this farm or somewhere. Like, there was an outdoor tank that I was standing on, and it was on a slope. So I didn't realise that you walked on one side of the tank at ground level, and the other side of the tank was like a 5-6 foot drop, 7 foot drop even, down to sloping grass. So it was totally fine. And I was chatting on the phone at the time, wasn't I? I was just wandering around this tank.
I think we had the recording at one point.
And down off the edge of this tank I fell and rolled down the grass a bit. It was very interesting.
Drop and roll, and you didn't hurt yourself?
No, because it was a slope that I landed on and it was all grassy, and so I sort of just landed and rolled and it was fine.
So we're fine to laugh.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying, yes, listeners, it's absolutely fine.
Right.
Did you think you were going to die? I mean, I've stepped off a unexpected curb before. I thought, this is it. This is it. I'm about to plummet to my death.
I don't think my cognitions took me much further than WTF.
Screaming. It's terrifying.
Right, Kayaker, I think it's over to you. You have some announcement or something you want to let us know about?
Well, I do. I want to tell you a little bit about what I've been doing with a group at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology student-run Accessibility Club. This is a student organization of MIT students, of course, freshmen through seniors, undergrads, who are interested in solving problems that different people in the community, could be vision, hearing, wheelchair, cognitive, all different types of disabilities might have in the real world. And they try to come up with technical solutions via engineering, robotics, software, devices, things like that. So it's a club. It's a way for them to build real projects and, get something for their resumes when it's time to find a job. So I've been working with this group for maybe 3 years now, and they have developed for me what I think is a very, very cool app, and I'm going to offer a special offer to everyone who's listening who wants to try it out. The app is basically an Uber car finder, or for that matter, any car finder. The interface is pretty simple. You launch the app, you type in or paste in the type of car you're looking for. For example, gray Toyota Corolla. The stuff that you get when your car type is mentioned in the Uber app. So what I often do is I see the gray Toyota Corolla, do the copy last phrase to the clipboard, switch over to the Uber Finder app, paste it in, and say, find my car. You point your phone at the road or the direction that the car is coming, you think the car is coming at, and when it finds it, it will alert you and tell you how far away and whether it's left, right, and give you beeping directions to it. The UI is pretty slick. It was designed specifically for us, and it is out there in TestFlight right now. So if you're interested, download TestFlight for your iPhone and go to the show notes and click on the TestFlight link, and you will have access to the Uber Car Finder app. Now, the one thing that I ask you to do is, if you use it, send them feedback, just good, bad, whatever they want. They want to know your experience. They want to know what you like and don't like, and they will try to fix it. And
that's fantastic.
That's my Christmas present to everyone, and I hope people take advantage of it. And I think it's a great app, designed with the blind community in mind to solve a specific problem we have. And again, it'll work with Ubers. It'll work for your family car if you're looking for your anyone, as long as you know the color, make, and model. And it'll even do the license plate if you have that as well. So all that will work, and enjoy. But please give us the feedback, and we want more feedback at this point. And hopefully it'll be available in the App Store soon.
That's the first question I was going to ask. Does it see the number plate as well? Does it take that into account when it's trying to find the car? Yeah.
Yes, it can. But the only problem is it's you do have to hit it. You do have to get the number plate in view, so
of course.
It's not always
Yeah.
So as you're standing on the side of the street, sometimes it doesn't. But it's very good, and it's worked for me every time I've tried to use it. So it'll pick it up pretty far away and say, "Hey, I see the gray Toyota Camry. It's 2 meters," and it gets haptic and audio feedback, and it'll walk you right to the car.
Sweet.
So it's great.
Very nice.
That sounds
very
like
nice.
a great idea, because it does solve that problem. And one of the biggest problems with having Uber, with getting an Uber in an unfamiliar location, is actually finding the car, and they always expect you to come to them.
Yeah. And I was surprised. I used it in a very crowded airport pickup, and boom, it worked so well. I was stunned at how fast I got. I used it in Nashville when I was going to a wedding back in September, and it found the car right at the Uber drop-off, which had multiple lanes for pickup and this and that, and it works so well.
Very cool. Can I ask, do you need the full details? If you just said, look for a red car.
That's an excellent question. I haven't tried that. It's designed specifically in mind for finding Ubers, so it's looking for the make and model, and it uses the same type of database that your toll collectors or your security cameras use for vehicle identification. So it's using that type of system to identify cars and license plates for vehicles.
And how geo-specific is it? For example, the makes of cars over here or in Australia. I believe they have utes over there, whatever they are.
I used it in the UK as well, and I didn't have any trouble. A grey Morris Minor. It's international. It should be international. I think the database is sort of international, so I think it should work everywhere. Yeah.
Very excited to give this a try.
Yeah. So look in the show notes for the TestFlight link, and that's it.
It'd be nice to have a feature for those. I remember just watching cars and saying, "Oh, there's as a kid." So if you have a feature, it would just told you what cars were going past.
Well, actually, if it does recognize a car, it'll tell you red Honda Accord, not your car. So it will identify the car. So it'll tell you. It'll tell you what it does see.
If you want to go car watching, you can do that too.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Hang on, are we just gonna skip over the fact that Kayaker has his own team of MIT students creating apps for him? Are we just accepting that as okay?
Right. Yeah. Whatever.
Well, how did you manage that?
I saw it on there used to be a class at MIT that was specifically designed for accessibility, and I think that class is no longer held. So the students went off and started the club, and I just have been working with them for a while. So MIT is not too far away from me, and the kids are great. I've introduced them to a couple people. I've had them talk to Luke at Glidance, to sort of see what's in that area, as well as Mike from Be My Eyes, and sort of expanding their network into accessibility ranges in the VI community. So they're having a good time. But these are kids with huge course loads, and they meet once a week to sort of do a hackathon type of thing to try to put a project together. And they like it, and it's good, and it teaches them stuff, and they're really thrilled that they're really psyched about this app and how much so far the blind community that has had it, my friend group has used it and given them such positive feedback. So I hope everyone else likes it as well.
I like it in that it is such a, it's a perfect sort of thing, because it's a constrained problem and it's a real problem for us. So it's a constrained problem in that it's something that AI is going to be able to handle, the sort of the car identification. But it's a real problem for us in that we can't find the freaking car.
Exactly.
So it's the perfect kind of problem to solve like this.
Yeah, that's exactly what they want to hear. They want to have a real world problem that's easy to solve, and they'll solve it for you. It's very specific. Orion will do some of the stuff and some of the other AI apps, but they don't do it to that level, and they don't give you the feedback that you need at that particular moment. So.
And again, it's the convenience factor, right?
Yeah.
Going back to what I was saying about document readers. I mean, it's the convenience factor of you haven't got to flick through 1,000 different elements of an interface to get somewhere to double tap and then do that and choose this. You just, you're straight to the use case, really. Sounds very cool. I've got a project for you. You can put to the club, the accessibility club, because this week I must have eaten 3 stickers that are on the bloody apples.
Fruit stickers?
Yeah. I always get pink lady apples. They're my favourite. I'm into apples now. I know, weird, but I am. I mean, really, I have about 5 apples a day. I don't know.
Oh, gosh.
And the latest batch of apples have all had stickers on them. And I only noticed when the kids said, why have these got stickers on them? Have they? And then I felt them, and they're really stuck on. You can hardly feel them as well. And when you try and peel them off, they peel off in bits. It's awful.
Skin. Yeah.
So I must have eaten about, 3 or 4 stickers in the apples I've eaten so far. It's an absolute disgrace and a problem that I think our community needs solving.
All right.
Well, just me.
Well, we
Sean's
will post
apple
that to the
sticker
listeners.
finder.
An apple sticker finder. I don't know why they have to do that, though. It's a pain in the bum.
I know. Well, yeah, it might be.
What you need to do is go to your local apple farm and pick them out of the bin. All right.
Oh.
Alrighty, on that note, I think we're going to move over and, firstly, say thank you for all of those of you out there who have been listening this year. Really appreciate it. Tell your friends.
Or enemies.
Or enemies,
we don't care.
yeah.
We're not choosy.
That's right.
Anyone.
And
yes, thank you so much. I know we've been a bit hit and miss, but we seem to be a bit more consistent now, thanks to Kayaker. Cracking that whip. Thank you, Kayaker.
We've been doing 1 episode a month just about for the last 2 years now, so that's right on schedule.
Pretty good.
And I think we'll be back in February, right? Because we're not gonna get one out for the 1st of January. So
yes.
Yeah,
so
we'll see you
everyone have a
February
happy Christmas,
1st.
happy holidays, however you celebrate. Enjoy it, and we'll be back, I don't know, sometime.
And remember, when you want to tell Sean how to get stickers off of his apples, please send your comments to sgk@theblind.ninja.
That's sgk@theblind.ninja.
sgk@theblind.ninja.
There you go. Happy holidays and see you next year.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Right.
Right, where's this bloody script?